Hello. Today I'm going to be drawing this, I believe the right word, is it Tachinidae Fly? Photos by James Reben. This fly, it's got some interesting massive eyes. So I want to start off with the ball of the head. I'm going to make it small because there are a lot of additional forms I could see on its head. I see this maybe that's its proboscis, I believe. It's got a lot of things. Okay, to start off with, I'm going to do the ball of the head. Now I'm going to do the thorax, which is this thing right here. It's pretty big. Now I'm going to draw the abdomen. And it looks like I'm pretty sure it's just more like a cup shape. But I am going to draw it initially as a ellipse. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll draw it as an ellipse, or like a sphere, elongated ellipsoid. That's a bit too big. A bit like that. I think that's a little bit too long. It should be a bit more thinner and thicker. I think kind of like that. I'm going to draw some contour ellipses to show the relationship. Okay, I also want to draw the pilot holes for the legs. There are legs on the other side. We could see a little bit of the front left one, but other than that, they are a bit obscured. Okay. Now I'm also going to draw some gestural lines for the legs. And I'm trying to look at the relationships of how everything kind of goes. It's a bit too long. It's kind of like you have a thing that goes that way. It's a bit that far out. Kind of like that. Yeah, about there. We have another leg piece that is a bit obscured, as I said before. Okay. So now I want to also do the pilot holes for the wings. And in the past I would try to make an ellipse. I think this time I'm just going to make a bit of a line on both sides that I will eventually use to summarize the wings. I'm going to add the wings on at the end. If you look at its wing, it kind of looks like there's a bit of a chunk taken out. I don't know if that's natural or if it was attacked by an insect of some sort. Okay, now I'm going to jump. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do the proboscis a little bit. At least a line for it. Okay. Now I'm going to do the construction. And when you look at the head again, I drew it as a ball. I feel like I'm kind of regretting it, and perhaps I should have made it more like a pill shape. But I'm going to work with what I have. So when you look at the eyes, they are these bean-like shaped things. They're pretty thick, and they do stick out of the head. They have a 3D nature. To them. Perhaps I should have done that a little bit thicker. I'm probably gonna have to extend the leg. I also put the leg in the wrong position. I should have assumed that I should have put some of the construction on before I started going further. because I am trying to be mindful of all the other relationships on the fly. I may try to summarize it in a couple lines. You know, it sticks out more. I keep doing it concave in when it really should be more concave out over there. I think that was the problem, like the eye kind of follows a flow like that, and I was doing a flow like that for the eye. And on the other side, you know, both eyes are the same. It's just there's a bit of a perspective issue with it as it goes along the ball. And it does bulge out. But you know what? I need to make it a little bit further up. I'm going to cut around the head, come back up, and I did it too much again. So I'm going to try to complete this line in 2 separate lines, because sometimes I try to jump too much, and I realize that sometimes when I try to summarize it in one shape, I should have tried to use 2 lines to understand the curvature. Kind of like that. And then there are these other, there's like this connection area that kind of helps connect everything together that I'm seeing. There's also a little bit extra areas to kind of like go around that connect it all, that wrap around the forms, perhaps defining more of the eye socket. Now I wanted to draw the proboscis, which I believe is the proboscis. Kind of looks like a snout of some type. Okay. That's a little bit of hair there. Alrighty. Now, if I look at the ball of the thorax, there's some interesting things going on. It kind of looks like a bunch of different puzzle pieces that are coming together. And when I look at it, it kind of like goes like a little bit forward in front of the wings. It kind of like does that, goes over that form. It's doing a lot of interesting contortions, would that be the right word? But it's going around the ball in a lot of ways and kind of bulges out in some areas. It's not just a flat ball, it has all of these bulging out areas, which is important to keep in mind. Because like sometimes when I think of that, I think of like a wasp, in which they have a lot of these areas that kind of just bulge for particular reasons. There's always a reason, I believe. And when I look at the back here, they're like these sections that kind of come off the form and kind of help extend it a little bit. Or they do wrap around the form, but they just go ever so slightly above. Like as if they were, I mean, they are additional forms. They're not just like painted on. It's a bit too much. Last one, it's kind of like that. Okay, so now what I want to do is, oh, there was one other part. Well, it's a bit more like that. There are these intermediary connecting areas. I've seen it on some hornets, in which it's kind of like these additional ways that the thorax and abdomen are merged together. I mean, they're separate, but I mean like there's like, think of it like a joint. Like if you look at your arm, if you think of like your shoulder compared to your arm, there are these interconnecting muscles. Like, I mean, I know you may not be able to see them, but if you do have some muscle definition, they're probably a bit more clear because everything's connected to help you move your arm. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a little bit of that leg again from before. Well, I went a little bit too far. Okay, I'm going to draw the wings now, and I may do it in a couple sections. I think it is important to keep in mind that area that looks like a chunk was bitten off of our fly friend. But yeah, sometimes executing things in a single shape can be pretty difficult when you could break it down in a few more lines. I don't think it's bad to do that. I think it helps organize oneself better. If that makes sense. So I'm just going to draw the general shape first before I try to go into further details. The important thing is that the wing is like connected around that connection slit. That's how I think of it. There's like I guess you could always say that if you think of like a penny and you lay a penny on its side, it'll look like a line. So I guess you can say there is thickness to that wing, and it's not just paper thin. Oh, I made it a bit too thin. Okay. So it's kind of a bit difficult to see the various parts of the wing, but it's actually a bit more evident here. It's really interesting. And you could choose to do this. I usually don't do this because they're not always in focus. And there's a lot of detail to them. So I'm probably not going to focus on it for too much longer, as there's a lot more details with it. Probably for studying wings, if I had to give advice for it, sometimes you could buy pinned insects, or do pinning yourself. I would probably never do it, but I don't like hurting anything. But I'm guessing like a lot of pinnings can help study wingspans more. Just a little bit of advice if you want it. Now what I want to do, I'm trying to think what that is. It's hard for me to say if it's a part of the wing. Kind of looks like a bit of a circle that goes. It's hard for me to tell exactly what it is. It may be an interconnecting area between the thorax and abdomen. That's my thought on it. There's also a part over here which I didn't cover. It's like a bit of a bulging out area as I'm seeing. But okay, now for the legs. So now that I've done this, I kind of realized that I probably made the wing a bit too far, and perhaps I should have put the leg down a bit lower. Luckily for you, I could do that, sort of. Just a little bit. It's going to mess it up a little bit. There was just a bigger gap than I originally anticipated. But okay, I want to draw the beans. There are some interesting shapes as it connects to the underside, even though we can't see the underside. But there are these elongated leg connections that connect to one another. Then at the end, we have that matched stick-like shape. And this fly's got like a bunch of gripping things at the end of his legs. I'm trying to be aware of these subtle differences when it comes to the leg parts. It could be a bit difficult to see them. It's amazing that the legs stay together considering how thin they are. Oh, you know what? So there are like a bunch of these interconnecting triangle things. I've seen this on many insects before, but it's like all of these triangles that come and connect, kind of like stacking cups. Okay. Okay. The last leg here is a bit difficult to see because it's a little bit out of focus, but I'm pretty sure we could safely assume that it's got those triangle things on the end, the stacking cup-like things. So I drew the proboscis. I keep thinking maybe it should be a little bit longer than how I drew it here. But yeah, those are the main things that I'm seeing on our fly friend. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you take something away from it and learn from it. Me, I keep thinking I should have used a bit of a pill shape for the head instead of a ball. But perhaps a ball does work. Perhaps if I made it a pill shape, it would not come out the way I expected it to. Perhaps sometimes working with smaller forms lets me add additional construction in an easier way. I would probably stick to a ball. But yeah, thank you for listening to me throughout this video. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. If you like the video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Thanks to James Reben for this fly. I really like this photo. It shows a lot of the fly, which I believe are also pollinators. They may be not all flies, but I'm guessing this one's a pollinator. Can't say for sure, and I probably should have Googled that before I made this video, but oh well. Thank you very much for listening to me throughout this video. I do appreciate it. Oh, one other thing. I realized that on the leg here, sometimes there are these additional things that kind of stick out. I can't tell. I don't think it's hair. I think there's like another triangle-like thing on the leg. But yeah, the fly is very hairy, I'm guessing, so it detects any subtle motion. I'm also thinking maybe I should have made this eye bulge out a bit more than I did. But you can't know everything. You know, I draw insects a lot for instructional videos, but I probably also need to draw a lot of insects for grinding purposes so I can gain more experience. That is one thing that I've been meaning to do and I will do. So yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.